They say money can't buy happiness, but that feels like something only someone with money would say. Because the truth is, money steals something long before happiness. It steals the way you imagine your own future. And if you're not careful, you won't even realize what has been stolen until it's too late. In this video, I'm going to show you what it is. Here's a quick disclaimer before I start. Whenever I mention the word poor in this video, I do not mean someone who actually cannot eat this night unless he works in the morning. That is real poverty. Rather, I'm talking about someone who is closer to what I would call broke. The person can afford his basic necessities and he can afford some privileges here and there. But apart from that, he does not have the margin to dream freely. For the sake of simplicity though, I'm going to use the word poor to describe both states in this video. Because whether you are starving or whether you are just scraping by, the effect on your imagination has a lot in common. The first thing that poverty does to your brain is that it narrows your reality. And the best way for me to explain that is by giving you an example. Let's say we have an example of two people who are in university and both of them are 20 years old. One of them has 2 million naira in his bank account. The second one has 20,000 naira in his bank account. And let's say both of them are in their final year, they're about to finish school. This is what is in their head. The first one is thinking, the guy with 2 million naira is like, oh, if I finish this thing, I'm going to go outside, I'm going to open a business. I'm going to use some of that money, open a business, make sure it gets profitable. I'm going to hire employees. It's going to be a great business that's going to take over my state or whatever. That is what he's thinking in his head. Why my guy here with 20,000 naira? The only thing that he's thinking about is, okay, I have this 20,000 naira. How am I going to manage this thing so that it's going to last me the next 2 weeks or the next 1 week safe? He will now be like, okay, there's this woman that's staying around that junction that she used to sell gari. Her own gari used to be very, very cheap. So if I go, I'm going to buy like three cups a hand. If I buy 3 cups, I will use one of the cups. I'll just pour small. Then I'll pour water inside the cup that I'm using to make gari very well so that the thing will rise and the thing will be plenty. Then, then I'll buy without granules and add it so that the thing is going to make sense. This thing is going to last me. I'm going to make sure it lasts me as long as it can. So the first thing that we can already see from here is that the amount of money in their bank accounts determines the scope at which they think. So the first guy is already thinking about what he will do in the next 2 years when he graduates and starts a business and makes it wonderful. While the second guy can only think in terms of weeks, because that is what his money affords him to think about. And here's the thing, poverty doesn't just narrow your scope of thinking, it also narrows your opportunities. So the second example I'm going to give is actually from my life. When I graduated from secondary school, I was preparing to apply to schools in the US, to Ivy League University, so I was very serious with that. And one of the things that we had to do, or that I found out that was important to get into these schools, was to have a lot of extracurricular activities, high-level ones, high-level extracurriculars. So one of the things I was interested in was research. I wanted to get into a research program and then write a research paper and then submit it to these people, add it to my resume. And so while I was preparing for this, I used to check some of my friends. I'll check their resumes. I'll say, okay, he had this program with this professor from US. Or he had this research experience at this wonderful lab. So there were just a lot of amazing experiences that they were having. And so in my mind, I was like, I'm going to get this thing too. I'm going to also add it and improve my resume. What I didn't know is that those friends that I was talking to, they had rich parents. And so they could afford them those opportunities. So this is what will happen. I'm going to go to the same websites that my friends got the opportunities from, hoping to get the same ones. And I'll go there and I'll check, oh, they have this AI tool that they're teaching people to use. They're going to help you teach you how to write a research paper. They're going to give you a lot of mentorship and blah, blah, blah. And I'll read everything and I'll be so excited. Then I'll reach the end of the page, end of the website. And I'll just see that dollar sign. And I'll see $497. Once I see that one, I'll just go and close the Chrome tab. That is the end. That is that. That opportunity is not for me. I'll go and start looking for other free opportunities that will not be as good as that one ultimately. So this is the first thing that poverty does. It narrows your scope of thinking, and then it also narrows the opportunities that you have. And emphasis on this narrowing of opportunities, because that is what is going to determine the next thing that poverty does to your brain, which is what we're going to talk about in the next part of this video. Now remember when I told you that poverty narrows your opportunities? Let me make it more graphic for you. So if you go into the world and you are broke, and you're walking through the world and you're experiencing what other people are experiencing, After some time, you begin to notice that the rich people, they have a lot of, like, it's as if their world is bigger. There are a lot of things, experiences that they can have that you cannot have. There are a lot of places they can go to that you cannot go to. There are a lot of things that they can afford and enjoy that you cannot afford and enjoy. And because of that, it will begin to look as if the world is boxing you into one place, as if everything is just pressuring you and crushing you into one position that you don't want. And the thing is, when your brain senses that this is what is happening, that it is getting boxed into this space that it does not want, it's going to become desperate. It's going to become desperate to come out of that place and experience life as other people are experiencing it. And the thing is, because the brain is so desperate, because it wants to just get rich, it's going to forget about taking the normal route to riches, which is just work hard, sacrifice, make something that people want, and then you become rich. Instead, it's going to start imagining some magical force that's going to come into a situation and pull you out of there and make you rich automatically. And the thing about this phenomenon is, the more broke you are, the more hopeless that your situation looks, the more desperate that your brain becomes. So this is the reason why people who are peddling things like get rich quick schemes, they usually come to broken countries. They go to the most broken countries because they know that they are the most desperate. There's a reason why people who are peddling things like prosperity gospel, they go to the countries that are the most broken because they know that they'll get more followers, they'll get more adherents there because the people there are much more desperate. So now I've told you about all the ways that poverty warps your brain, and all of them have been focused on negative things, how it reduces your opportunities, narrows your scope of thinking. But now I want to tell you about something positive that poverty does to your brain. Now, one thing about being broke is that the moment you understand that your finances are not where you want them to be, and you know that it's not going to change anytime very soon, your brain starts coming up with some hacks just to cope with the situation. And let me give you a perfect example for this. So I want you to remember when you were in secondary school, a boarding secondary school, and before you go, your parents will give you like 5 bars of soap so that you go and use it to wash your clothes when it's time to wash your clothes. And you know that those 5 bars of soap, they may not actually reach the end of the term. You just use them as they are. So if you carry one soap and you just use it to start washing immediately, you know that it's not going to stretch to the end. So this is what you do. You carry a knife and you cut the soap into 2. Because you know that if you carry that one that is half and you wash it, your clothes with the soap, and you wash it until that's absolutely finished. And then you can use the other one, and then it will last just a little bit longer than if you had just used the entire soap to wash it. So that is one hack that poverty has instilled in you, and you know it. But the thing is that this is just one of many. There are a lot of things that poverty makes you to come up with, a lot of ideas. So the truth is that the desperation and the constraints, they breed creativity. But the only problem here is that the creativity is mostly defensive. It is not expansive. So the truth is that poverty does trick your brain. And if you say that it doesn't trick your brain, you're just tricking yourself even more. The best thing that you can do is just to admit that it has tricked your brain, reflect on how deeply it has changed you, and then fight to start thinking long term and stretching out your vision, even though you are broke. Now that I've learned about poverty and what it does to your brain, you may start thinking, how do I get out of this and become successful? Well, I want you to check this video I made about the mathematics of success. And if you like this video, make sure to subscribe. Thanks for watching, and see you later.